we're really excited to have Jonathan Lane and Caleb McFadden here with us today, both from Clearly Music. And we're just really excited to talk to you both about how you got involved in the industry and your processes for licensing music, and hopefully give people here a little insight into that. Music, everyone or most people here, I believe, would be music creators themselves. So I'm sure that everyone's eager to hear your stories and your tips for them. So I just want to give a little background on Pandion real quick before we get started. For those who aren't familiar, Pandion Music Foundation is a new nonprofit online platform for music creators, specifically emerging artists who might not have access to resources. All of our resources are free because we're a nonprofit, and we hold workshops, wellness guidance, and direct access to experts, which has been pretty amazing so far. We started these workshops back in October now, and they've been just amazing. Everybody who we've had on have been just incredibly insightful and helpful for those of us who've been participating every week. And then we hold these workshops as replays on our website as well for those who can't make the live calls, which is great for anyone based in other locations who might not be available at the time that they're live. And then we also have some really exciting stuff coming up. We have a Syncaballoo LA LA Sync Festival that's going to be happening in April from the 10th to the 12th, which will be in person at Earth Star Creation Center in Venice, which we're really excited about. So if anybody's interested in purchasing tickets to that, we can drop a little link in the chat. And then we're going to be all of the profits from the Syncathon, which will be the first day of the Syncaballoo, will be donated to Pandion, which we're really grateful for. And 2Indie will be hosting that whole event. So we're really excited about that. And we've got other things in the works, so just keep an eye out, and you can join our newsletter on our website if you'd like to get information, or our creators circle on Facebook, which is our private Facebook group. So all of our information is shared there in those places. And so thank you guys again for being here. And just to do a little introduction of Jonathan and Caleb. Jonathan is a music licensing executive and music supervisor with over 10 years of experience in the industry, providing music supervision services to many top film, marketing, and advertising agencies since 2015. John is the founder of Clearly Music, which is a full scope music supervision company with a focus on film, marketing, advertising, content, and podcasts. And in addition to Clearly Music, John is also the senior director at Sync Licensing at 5 Alarm Music, where he oversees TV and film licensing strategy, key accounts, music supervisor relationships, and business development strategy. So thank you for being here. That sounds like you have a full plate already. So it means a lot that you take the time to be with us today. And then Caleb, also busy at Clearly Music Services, is the music coordinator and specializes in sync, licensing, and supervision for film and marketing and advertising, and carries a wealth of knowledge from his past experiences in music, marketing, talent booking, and artist management. So we're just really excited to get started with you today. So thank you for hearing my little spiel. And if you want to give a little bit more information, both of you, on kind of your background and just how you got started with this, that would be great to start us off.
Cool, sure. Sounds absolutely exhausting when you read that back to me, but I was like, Jesus. So I mean, I got started. I feel like everybody who's in the world of music supervision kind of has used to have kind of like more untraditional paths. Now they have like, you can get like certificates, and you can get you can get like a degree, I think, in it even. But my path, I started by I learned about the world of like music supervision and sync licensing by writing about it, because I was doing a lot of like PR writing and freelance for like music companies and stuff. And yeah, and I growing up in LA, all of my friends surrounding me were all content creators. So like my pathway was sort of, you know, they're all like directors and producers, and that's like after high school, editors, post-production people. And so yeah, my buddy Josh, he was you know, he had a recording studio and was starting like a licensing company. And I thought that it would be, you know, at the time I was working at Warner Brothers and not doing anything music related. I was actually writing for like consumer packaging copy, like on the backs of the back of like toy packaging basically and stuff like that. Which is like so random, but it was kind of cool. I used to be able to like also design like we had like a grocery line of like cereal brands and stuff that were associated with the Warner properties. So I used to be able to like create like the crossword puzzles and all the games on the backs of like cereal boxes and stuff. So it was like a really random mixed bag of stuff that I was doing over there. But I was in a touring band at the time, and I really wanted to pivot into music and stuff. Did you really, Rebecca? That's insane. What? Oh, you're on mute right now.
I worked, I worked DC Comics, Harry Potter, Looney Tunes, all that stuff. A three-dimensional, all the fine art stuff. Is that crazy?
We have to talk more about that. That is like amazing to me. Okay.
Oh my God, the Warner Brothers world. It's so weird.
I know, that's like, it feels like a lifetime ago now, but that is, wow, that's a trip. I'm certain that we know a lot of the same people from that. Anyway, yeah, so I was really good friends with this dude named Josh. He was starting like a licensing company. He had a recording studio, and yeah, Josh Young. And so it made sense that he wanted to was looking for somebody who could like get the music licensed. All of my friends were content creators. I was pretty confident that I'd be able to get him licensed. And at this point, it was just me and Josh who owned the studio, and one other dude named Steven. It was the three of us. Oh, actually, no, there was four of us. There was one other person, this chick, Jen. And the four of us were just basically like just figuring everything out as we go along. We're like figuring out how the industry works. We're just trying by, you know, like we literally were just like trying things, failing, having some wins. Like I literally just learned how to do all this stuff just by doing it. And yeah, and I kind of just kept developing and kept learning and kept growing. But I basically learned the entire industry like just on the job, basically. And yeah, and then I sort of like kept meandering around. Like after that, I wasn't making enough money, so I went to a company that hired me to open up their Los Angeles office, which is called Audio Network. They're a UK based company. And at the time, they didn't have anyone in Los Angeles. They only had a New York company or a New York location. And so I opened up their LA office and like built out a team and stuff. I started Clearly Music in 2015, like around the same time. And mostly doing trailer music supervision and stuff like that, and some indie films and stuff. And then yeah, the Clearly Music just continued to grow year after year, just more and more clients and more work and stuff. Except for the pandemic, where we didn't really do anything during the pandemic, because most of the film marketing stuff, if they're not shooting movies, there's no content, there's no like marketing content for them to be able to create assets with. So it kind of came to a halt. And then once filming came back, like every single project that was on hold came back literally all at the same time. So it was like gangbusters for like a second. But yeah, so that's kind of like just the way Clearly Music sort of grown organically. I brought on Caleb like a little over a year ago, and we met on a Zoom session. I used to do these things. Last year I did these things called office hours, where I was meeting with people one-on-one. It's just like a free kind of like educational initiative that I was doing, where I was just trying to give people free information. And so I did it for a year, met with like over 100 people. And Caleb was one of those people, and he was looking to get into the industry. So I didn't really have, I wasn't really expecting to bring someone on to like help me, because I've always just done things kind of solo. But now I've kind of realized that I do need help now that I have him, and he's become such an asset. I'm like, oh, this is like, life's like way easier when somebody's helping you out with things. So yeah, that's kind of like that felt like a really meandering, kind of confusing journey that I just explained. But yeah, that's basically kind of like where my career has gone and stuff. I've just kind of grown and developed organically, just getting more experience and just keep growing and learning. But Caleb, do you want to talk about your background?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so like John said, we basically met last year, and that was kind of more or less the start of my professional sync career. I think John was a little more graceful about that story. I feel like I was mostly just nagging him, like, hey, what do you need help with? What do you need help with? And we ended up working together. So before that, I was in a few like touring bands and just really trying to make the recording touring life happen. And then the pandemic hit. And slightly before that, I had a couple friends that actually work for another music nonprofit out of Colorado called the Music District. And they did something very similar to what we're doing right now. And they hosted a bunch of like classes and stuff, and a lot of it was centered around sync. And that was more or less my introduction to that, but from an artist standpoint. So it's actually really cool for me to be here kind of on the other side today. I really, really love things like this. This is how I got my start in the sync industry. And so these events are really special to me. But yeah, I kind of just like I started from an artist standpoint and was like, okay, I'm gonna make music for sync. And to an extent, that's still something on my mind. But I ended up kind of leaving that class, being like, no, I want to be a music supervisor. Like that is like I like had no idea that a dream job existed until I took that class. I'm like, okay, that's perfect. Like this is exactly what I want to do. So
and then he quickly realized once he started working with me that it's a terrible job, and there's
that it's awful. Yeah, it's just horrible.
Nothing to do. It's just a nightmare.
So trying to find the quickest exit that I can. But no, it's been fun. I've been really grateful for John. He's been a really amazing mentor, and yeah, it's been a good transition. And then kind of within all of that too, I did some like venue operations, some like artist relations stuff, and helped with like artist development for like other bands and friends bands and stuff like that. So really just kind of trying to be involved in the music community as much as possible. But yeah, that's more or less my story, I guess.
Cool. I didn't realize you guys, that's how you met, which is really cool because that's kind of similar to how Rebecca and I actually met. And it's good to hear like things like that can kind of curate a space for people to meet and collaborate, because that's kind of what we're trying to do here in a lot of ways, is like provide a platform for people to meet each other and network and do all the things that you need to do in the music scene.
Yeah, I find that like the office hours thing was more because like I'll speak on panels and stuff like that, but I find that like artists pay like a tremendous amount of money to like attend that sort of stuff, and it's not something that's equitable for everyone to be able to attend.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that it kind of like some of those things, without getting on a big soapbox about it, kind of prey upon the desperation of people who are trying to like get access to information and make connections.
Yeah.
And I personally just feel like there's like it's not something that I really truly like feel like is an ethical sort of thing within our industry. So I wanted to sort of like office hours was sort of a spite move on my part, where I was like, well, F that, I'm gonna offer all this information for free. I'm gonna meet with people one-on-one and like undercut like all these different conferences and stuff and just provide free information. But yeah, I mean, there were only like 30-minute sessions and stuff. There's only like one, the only conference that I actually like still like even go to is this one called Durango, because it's the only one that I've found that people actually make legitimate business connections, and a lot of the people that I meet there I actually work with, licensed music from, and other supervisors do too. But I find that a lot of the other ones aren't really the same. So but anyway, yeah, I love that you are doing this for the same reason. You know, I think that's like we need you know, education and information should be free, in my opinion. So that's why.
Cool. Yeah, preach that. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, John, you're so right on with all that because I mean, you know, we look at everybody in the room with us today, you know, everyone has their story of why they want to be a musician or create music or produce, and it's tough, man. I mean, even people that are making it that have gigs, and it's just, you know, paying the rent and being in Los Angeles or being in the big cities or just being anywhere, it's just hard. And so
Yeah,
this is great.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and give us
yeah, of
your
course.
wisdom and everything.
Happy to.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we'd love to just, I guess, just start the conversation of how, like, I guess, what's like your favorite thing about being a supervisor, and maybe like, I'd love to hear a little bit about like, I guess the red flags for you, for, because I think people here that maybe are trying to kind of take note of best ways to connect with supervisors and get their music over to them. So like from your perspective as a supervisor and somebody who's getting sent music all the time or finding music all the time, like what are the things that you look for? What are the red flags of things that you like immediately are like, I can't work with this artist or I can't sign this song? That would be nice to hear and maybe start the conversation about that.
Sure. Yeah, I always say that the best way, if you're an independent artist, your time is going to be best spent connecting with sync agencies rather than music supervisors directly, probably, because they're the ones who are already getting all the briefs. They already have all the connections with the music supervisors. They're already, you know what I mean? So you can do both simultaneously. Obviously, you can be networking with music supervisors directly, but I think that if you're an independent artist, you should be definitely focusing a healthy amount of attention on finding the right agency to represent your music and building those relationships and connections for someone to be able to get your music to the you know, to the briefs and everything like that. And a lot of I'd say that 90% of the people that we work with are people that are currently represented by some sort of an agency or a library or a label or a publisher, and those are the people who ultimately sort of vet. They've already pre-vetted all the artists that they're working with, so we don't have to necessarily do it ourselves, you know, because we don't really have the bandwidth to connect with every independent artist and make sure that they're, you know, vet whether or not, you know, that there's no issues with their music, that things are properly registered, that they're like, you know, that everything's sorted out. So and it's just not efficient. It's not efficient for us to be going to independent artists directly for music, really. It's just because of the amount of music that we all often need and stuff like that. So so yeah, I think that'd be the first thing that you'd want to do, is to definitely, you know, I'm happy to make a suggestion of some people that we work with often that I like, that I'll put in the chat at some point before the call ends, that are some good agencies and stuff like that are trusted.
I can do that too.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's
do some,
because
yeah,
that's the
we'll put
risk on
some-
the artist side, is like, how do you find those legit, you know, reliable agencies to work with? It's a bit overwhelming sometimes with how many are out there.
Yeah, we'll make a list of some exclusive ones, some non-exclusive ones, some libraries that we work with a lot. And then some ones that are a little bit harder to get into that we also like, but maybe worth a try.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that's definitely a good way to get your music to a music supervisor, is to get your music represented. I guess red flags, you know, is like cold. You're gonna have to send cold emails to music supervisors. That's like part of it. So I'm a bit of the opinion, you know, that like, you know, I'm kind of more of the opinion that like, you know, like you should cold email music supervisors. You should put yourself out there. You have to get your music out. You have to like try to make a connection, you know. So go for it. Try to find our email addresses on the internet. They're probably all out there somehow. And then, you know, introduce yourself. Just be polite, introduce yourself. You know, give a downloadable and streamable link to your music. I'm sure people have heard of like Disco and things like that. So that's a good platform to use. And make sure you give kind of just a brief introduction of what kind of music you create, and let us know what rights that you represent for the music that you're sending. So if you represent all of it on like a one-stop basis, then you can mention that. If you only represent the master or only represent the publishing, then, you know, also good to mention. If your music currently is already represented by somebody like a sync agency, feel free to mention that and say, if you'd like to license this music, you can license it from, you know, Crucial, or you can license it from this agency or that agency, you know. I find that I answer a lot more cold emails when the music's already represented, and the independent artist reaches out to me, introduces themselves, and their music's already represented, and they say so in the email. I usually respond to those because I'm like, oh, good, I know those people. I licensed from them already. Like, good. It's like there's like a warm connection that's being made. So, you know, when your music's represented by somebody, it's not often like the antidote to like, not the antidote. It's not the, what's the word? It's not the answer. Sorry. It's not like the answer to your sync prayers necessarily. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you don't have any control over like your music being pitched frequently, or what briefs it's being pitched out to, or whatever. So it can feel like a bit of a passive relationship if you get your music signed by a sync agency, where you're sort of like, great, it's signed. Now, hopefully I sit around and hopefully I get like my music used. And hopefully they will be pitching your music out, but you can also take matters into your own hands once your music's signed, and try to pitch your music to supervisors directly, and just tell them like, hey, if you want to license this music, reach out to this person at this company, they represent it. It's totally one stop, you know. Music supervisors will appreciate knowing where they can license your music. So felt like a lot of information. But I don't in terms of red flags, like, I guess red flags for me are people who, you know, if it looks like they just haven't done it before, haven't done any research. And when I say research, I'm not talking about like knowing what to send me. I'm talking more about like knowing how to, you know, everyone has access to be able to Google and see like, you know, what the best practices are for sending a cold email in the music business, not attaching MP3 files, all the stuff that you've heard every single other music supervisor say on these calls. So, you know, like, or being pushy or rude, or not giving enough information, or not sending a professional sounding email, are all kind of red flags to me. But honestly, I think most people are pretty, for the most part, it's the minority of people that I receive cold emails from are bad emails. Like, I'd say the majority, people are pretty good at like folks are good at like Googling all this information, and it seems, and there's certainly plenty of it on the internet to be able to access.
Just curious, do you all use Disco yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Good to know.
Yeah, Caleb's our Disco guy. He's got us all.
I'm our Disco guy.
Awesome.
He's got us all set up. He's got us all set up. He's got us like, I think we're underutilizing Disco probably, but
we for sure are.
Yeah, it's my fault. It's because
there's so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool features.
yeah, there's a lot more we could be doing. We could be like making our whole process more efficient, but it seems like every project that we have is like a scramble because the content that we work on, are you non-exclusive? We don't represent any music, just FYI, everyone. So if you send us music, we don't represent people's music for sync. We're a music supervision company. So we only license music from people for Clearly Music. But yeah, so I find that like every single time we have a project, it's all just a mad dash every single time just to like find the right options and like put things together and send it out. And we never really have time to like chill and figure out what the best strategy is for sending out briefs and being more organized and stuff, which is all stuff that I struggle with.
Yeah, it seems like it's like such a huge world out there that it would be a bit hard to like deal with as a supervisor, just so much music being sent to you or being just around all the time. You'd have to have like those kind of streamlined things that you can rely on.
With that,
Yeah.
I would say though, I think if you're like hitting supervisors up, I do think it would be a pretty good idea to have like as an artist your own like disco account and to have your songs kind of categorized in playlists and separated with like instrumentals, and like having that kind of stuff organized I think is super helpful, because if I like, if I read an email and it's got like a bunch of like someone sends a bunch of music and it's a bunch of files kind of all over the place, it's gonna it just takes a lot more time to like have to sift through that and figure out what's going on. Whereas like if you sent someone just one disco link to your whole catalog of music and it's all separated by theme or by genre, it's also going to be helpful because they can just like upload that into, it's like, okay, save that for later if I ever need a song or anything that like fits any of these descriptions. I could not only hit up the people that we do, like all the libraries and agencies, but I think it's going to be more likely that a supervisor is going to be like, oh, like let's check this folder for this kind of music that I've been sent or whatever. So just I think it would be like a pretty top-notch thing as an artist to have a disco. I think it kind of is like a higher tier of like, oh wow, okay, this person knows what's going on and has it all organized. So
Cool.
Mhm.
Well, I'll take this little opportunity to just let everyone know, if you're not aware yet, we've started a new part of our programs where we're creating Pandion disco playlists. So with each music supervisor workshop that we have like this, we'll accept submissions, one song from each person who comes to the live call. So if you're here today, you can send us one song of yours that's radio ready, fully produced and mastered, and has all the metadata included, please. So I'll give you the link at the end of the call and you can all submit one song each. And then we're just adding it to a playlist on our own because Pandion has a disco account as well. So we'll just add, we're adding playlists there for music supervisors to use if they would like to discover. I think the discovery aspect of disco is still kind of like up and coming. It sounds like not every supervisor uses it as kind of a discovery platform yet, but I think it's becoming a bit more popular for that. So hopefully at some point people will start to kind of know that our playlists are there and can use it if they'd like to. So yeah, so just a little heads up. We'll drop that
Right.
link at the end of the call.
And then on that note, please do not share this with anybody outside of today's group because we're using it specifically whoever showed up today. Thank you, much appreciated.
Yes.
It's like we want to keep it special for whoever the listener, the supervisor or the agency wants to peek in and take a listen.
Yeah.
Look at all these gems you're dropping in the chat, John. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, these are great. Cool. Caleb, since you're like a bit newer to this side of the industry, is there anything that's like been surprising to you or that you weren't really expecting as you've gotten more involved?
Um, Not like super surprising. I felt like I kind of expected it, but I mean, um, there's a lot more groundwork happening, and a lot more like logistical stuff that happens, from the music supervisor's perspective, you know. It's a very creative role. But I would say like 25% of it is creative, and like the other like 75% is like a lot of like like jumping legal barriers, like doing a bunch of publishing research, kind of just having all your ducks in a row. I mean, it's a lot of emailing, it's a lot of communicating with um all sorts of different people, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not super surprised. I actually kind of enjoy that stuff, oddly enough. Like when I was in bands, I was kind of the the weird guy organizing everything, like managing it, and like so I kind of like love that stuff, but um it's definitely less creative than I thought, but not to a point where I'm like too surprised. But I feel like that's really it. I haven't been like too surprised by a lot of things. I like really like before I like made the jump, I'm like, is this something I want to do? And I like really tried to like pick a lot of people's brains about like what's going on, what do you do? And so I think I kind of can be like meticulous before I make jumps like that, and like think about it maybe too much. So I felt like in a weird way I was not super surprised, just because I kind of had like figured things out beforehand.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
so it's interesting because a lot of times when I'm looking at the credits and I see supervisors and I see um, the what you do, you're doing both supervising and coordinating, Caleb. But it looks like coordinators get so much. There sometimes it could be a lot of coordinators on one movie or one show. And how would you describe the difference between the two in a real simple way? Because I know that
Between
coordinators move around. Yeah, coordinators versus supervisors.
supervisors, um, I really don't, in a way, I don't think there's any difference. There's like they're doing the same job. I think really what it is usually a music coordinator is assisting the music supervisor. So it's kind of up to the music supervisor, um, about like delegating what tasks they're doing. So like, it's going to be different, I think, every team.
Yeah, I think
Some
some music coordinators like at other companies will strictly just do administrative tasks and stuff like that and keep things organized or whatever. For Caleb, like I want him to like learn how to do everything. So I involve him in almost everything. But the only thing that I don't have Caleb working on is anything where someone can get sued. I don't let him touch any of that stuff. I handle all that stuff.
Right.
So if it's like if it's something where it's like a legal, if it's like a contract related thing, or some sort of like changes are being made, like uh changes that are like red lines being made to an agreement or something, or handling signatures, or if there's payment related things and stuff like that, those are all things that I make sure that I'll copy him in on, or but those are things that I don't prefer that he touches, just because I'd prefer that if something gets messed up, that it's of my doing and it's not Caleb's doing. But for
Right.
other than that, like there's he's handling a lot of the stuff with me. We both do creative, we both pull tracks, we both send out briefs, we both curate the options. I typically am the one that's negotiating all the fees and the rights and all that stuff, because that's again more like legal bearing stuff. But he's looped in on all that stuff, and he's able to see has visibility of what that process is and stuff. So if he needed to do it, he'd be capable of doing it. He knows what to do. But yeah, every music supervisor sort of approaches their coordinator role slightly differently. Some of them, I know some of them just literally do answering phones and scheduling meetings and stuff like that. So
like it's like an assistant, like a front desk job for some people, I think, and some are just doing cue sheets, like, and that's it.
And when I started with Caleb here, the goal is that eventually he goes and he works for somebody else that's cooler. So like I want him to like I want him to be able to like go and like at some point and be like, oh cool, like I know how to do all this stuff. So so I think that Caleb is a little bit more hands-on for what we do here at Clearly than maybe some other coordinators.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. So you have to worry about legal things. You have to make sure that the editors and the producers and directors get the songs that, the best songs offered to them. And so you're kind of like this like a huge gateway to the whole industry. And that's a lot of responsibility, right? It's also exciting.
It is. I started working on like feature films this year, which is just not something that typically I usually work on, because that's not usually what my clients are. But I also collaborate with a dude named Mike Turner, who's like another music supervisor, and so he'll bring me on to his film projects. I'll bring him on if I have like a TV show or something, and we like collaborate and give each other work and stuff. So I've found that like the music supervisor role in general like oversees anything in a production. The music supervisor oversees all things related to music. So when it comes to a film, like we're the ones that are suggesting composers or helping to hire composers, overseeing the music that they're creating and liaising with like the production, making sure that we're staying on budget for the entire film, swapping in and out music, making sure that we have the editor has stuff to be editing with and different options. And we'll even edit in, like take a cut and drop in songs and edit them to pictures so the production can see what they would look like if they were to be used. And a lot of it's also selling in the production on our concepts too. So when we pull tracks like that we think are really good for a scene, like we still have to kind of like pitch them to the production and be like, hey, check these out. Here's the reasons why we think these would be good, and then typically they end up choosing the ones that we think are the wackest, which is fun.
That's why you give them the wacky ones too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like whatever the lamest one is, we're always like, oh, you chose that one. Okay.
That's the one, huh? Oh,
That's
yeah, interesting.
Keeps things interesting for you all.
Yeah.
Sure.
But now you can kind of guess it. Now you're like, oh, my favorite one. No, definitely that's the last one they'll pick.
I'll never ever be able to license from the National. I'm convinced that no one will ever.
No, we weren't. I mean, we're both on that. Like,
yeah.
The National, the band.
Yeah, I've pitched the National. I've pitched the National like for I don't know 15 different projects that I've worked on. Yeah, they're so good, and the production never ends up going with it whenever I pitch them. I don't know
so
why.
funny.
Now you can just start dropping
big,
it in there every time just to
so the National, they're big. They're our big clients here at Earthstar Creation Center. Matt, they come here a lot, so it's great, and I love listening to their music because that's like that's my thing. It's like they're very chill. I can see how it would work with a lot of things, but I get it. It's like I get what you're saying. Like,
they get used.
I think their lyrics are too specific for a lot of things.
They are very specific. They do get licensed a lot, but it's just like it's just one of those things for music supervisors where it's like whenever like you're really excited about a band, because I'm a huge fan of that band, and it's like whenever you're a big fan of the band, the universe just never lets you use it in the project.
Yeah.
It's like all that, like,
that's true.
I don't know why, but yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So
that's
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Then don't be a fan of it. So John and Caleb, don't be a fan of any of our music.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. No, I'm
If you
kidding.
want your song to be used, actually don't
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
anything good
don't.
about it.
we won't even listen to it. It'll be
Yeah.
perfect. It'll work out just great.
Okay,
That's
okay. Now I want to get like a little cheeky here. Tell us like some like super funny experiences you've had together, working together, just so we have like a little peek
Mhm.
into your wacky world, as
Did
you
you say
know,
fun?
to make it interesting. Yeah,
Fun?
just like, you know, with Jordan and I, we have our little
With John?
moments where we just have to get wacky, you know, even though she's in Australia or whatever, you know, something you want to share with us that lightens up the group. Like you work together, you're pals as well. I met you at the Guild of Supervisors, Caleb, and I could see your friendship
Yeah.
is really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we
John and
definitely.
I don't have much fun. I feel like it's usually pretty
No.
Come
rivalry.
on.
Just kidding.
Not true. No, we
No,
mess around a
yeah, we
lot.
do.
Right before this call, I called him at 11. I called him at 10:55, and I asked him if he was going to get on the call, and he's like, yeah, in 3 minutes. I was like, dude, we're like 30 minutes into this thing. Like, when are you going to jump on? And, like, and then he's just
He
like,
got me
and then he's like,
all
oh
beside
shit, and then he starts like
myself.
getting
I
all,
love that.
and then he was getting all like frantic and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then
Oh, man.
so there's a lot of like screwing around with each other like that, and it's, which just ruins the trust, to be honest.
Oh, it totally does. Yeah, it 100% does. But I'm gonna get him back. He's gotten me so many times, and I'm just waiting. I'm like now in cahoots with his girlfriend. Like we're gonna get him
Oh
so good,
no.
and it's gonna
I'm
be
in
cool.
I'm in cahoots with his girlfriend too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
FYI.
hey,
Yeah.
if you want in on this, honestly, the more the merrier.
I'm
What do we
already
got?
in. I'm
We
already
got
in on.
60 participants in this right now. I feel like
Potential
we should all start like a little
prankers.
like group chat. We're gonna get
Yeah,
John so good.
Justina is the secret weapon. She's our queen.
She is. She's
She's
the
our
mole.
queen.
She's
She is.
she's the mole. If you wanna screw with me, Justina, you want to say hi to the call?
Yeah, come and
Oh,
say hi. Give us a
yeah.
little like shimmy shimmy. She's such
She
a
said she's
an
in her
amazing
pajamas,
being.
but we don't care. We're all working
Oh,
from home right now. Everyone, look at
Oh,
her.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, look, you're looking at
just
normal.
we
Woohoo!
love you. We love you,
Hey.
Justina. She's
Hey,
already hosted.
Justina.
She's a mentor to us so many times already. She's the mentor of the queen mentor. Hi, Justina. We love you.
Hi, great to see you guys.
Good to
This is
see
literally
you.
what it looks like to work from home for me. I will not put on anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You look perfectly
Let's
fine.
normalize pajamas on the
I
weekend.
agree.
Please. I agree.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
exactly. You don't even know what we're
Justina,
wearing underneath.
Yeah, I'm not going to scare it
True.
up for you all right now. Don't worry.
Just to make me feel better, everyone please rise so I can see.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
I like what I see. I like what I see.
Oh, that's great. Good to see you.
Love you. Should we open it up with questions?
Yeah,
now?
I was just gonna say I've collected a couple. I can start off with.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
if it goes like a little bit over for us, that's okay too. I have like a
Oh,
bunch.
thank you. Great. We can get a few questions in then. Somebody asked if there's any styles of music that you're looking for more of right now, or you don't see enough of.
I think I think with just a lot of the projects that we work on, we see a lot of hip hop needs, a lot of like female led pop of kind of all varieties. We also see kind of more of like trailer cues, things like that. I don't know, John, you want to hop in on that? Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, it's mostly, yeah, like you're saying, we license a lot of hip hop, a lot of like what we refer to as sports promo hip hop, which is like stuff that really gets you jacked up and like excited for like the big game kind of stuff. That style production we license a lot of, so we have kind of like a a thirst that seems to not be able to be quenched for that. Things that are like spooky kind of female, like epic female vocal trailer tracks and stuff like that seem to be requested constantly. We're always looking for stuff like that. We look for a lot of trailerized covers. A lot of the stuff that we work on is, since we work on like, we're essentially, I get hired for campaigns, like film campaigns. So like basically like the film itself is what kind of dictates the musical aesthetic of the campaign, you know. So for example, like Women Talking was like vastly different sounding than Creed 3, as I'm sure you all can imagine. So so yeah, like you know, for that stuff it was a lot of sparse orchestral music and stuff, and it was like really introspective orchestral music and things like that. And then Creed 3 was a lot of like big, you know, anthemic sports hip hop tracks and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it kind of runs the gamut. I think that for me, when people are submitting music for us, at least here at Clearly, like it's impossible to know. I don't really subscribe to the idea that you have to know what every music supervisor is working on to submit to them. I think that that's like a crock of shit, to be honest. So I know that every supervisor sits there and is like, make sure you've researched every single thing that I've ever worked on, and make sure you only send me the tracks for my projects and all this stuff. And like they write books about it and stuff. But I think that a lot of that is just like, it's impossible to know, because you could go on IMDb, you can look at what Jen Malone is working on or whatever, and you know that she works on these shows that license this kind of music, but you don't know what the script says that she's working on those episodes. You don't know if it's some sort of a period-based arc in a show that takes place in a different time. You don't know what kind of stuff is written in. You don't know what she actually does need. And she often doesn't until she looks at the script, you know? So same thing with us. It's like, I think the only thing you can really do is just pull together your best like showing of the tracks that represent you, and send us 5 to 10 of them, and introduce yourself, and you know, let us know what it is that you do. And that's the best way to submit music for our projects. But yeah, I mean, and as a general rule, like, you know, we license a lot of like, yeah, anthemic female vocal stuff, hip hop stuff, a lot of orchestral stuff. We usually reach out to the libraries for that kind of thing. We like tracks that like build and like have like a really nice build and really good edit points to them, because a lot of the marketing pieces, the editors are looking for places where they can like stop down and do ramp ups and stop downs and all these different rises. So stuff that has like a lot of like sound design and a well built like bed, like a musical bed to it, rhythmic bed, is stuff that's important for us. And it has to like go somewhere. The track just has to like build or develop somewhere, and not stay, you know, flat.
Mm-hmm. That's all great to know. Yeah, I'm sure it depends so much on the project you're working on, with how
really does,
different
yeah.
things are. Yeah. Somebody was asking about cover songs, which I've actually been interested in too, just because I know that, or what I've heard is that can be a nice way for supervisors to get like a song that's on a lower budget. And I've been noticing a lot of cover songs lately, actually, like amazing cover songs that have been used in like ads and movies lately. And so someone was asking what your take is on them, and if you have any advice of like agencies that you know of that will take cover songs or that are using cover songs.
I think a lot of agencies take them. They just don't make them available like in their like general platform for people to access, because they usually want everything that's offered in their general like licensing platform, like their disco library, to be stuff that's, you know, a one-stop clearance. And since they're not able to clear the publishing, they often won't include it on that, but they'll represent it. So when a brief comes in, they'll still have it and be able to pitch it. So I think that I would still reach out if they're good covers and well produced. I'd still reach out to a lot of those same agencies that we mentioned in the chat, and like let them know about your covers, and you know, there's a good chance that they would represent them.
Does that, from your end of things, when you use a cover song, then you have to, so the publishing has to be cleared through like the original songwriters publishing. Is that right?
Well, that's our job, really.
Yeah.
Our job is to clear the publishing. So,
Mhm.
you know, like if you want to distribute, so if there's a difference. If the difference is that if you created a cover as an independent artist and then you want to distribute your cover,
Mhm.
you do need to get a license to be able to like monetize the cover, you know what I mean, and to be able to distribute it. That's just for you as an artist to distribute a cover song, you know. But if you're just creating it with the hope that it's going to get used in TV and film, then there's really not much you really need to do, like besides create it. And then, you know, once it gets pitched to me, I'm going to have to go clear all the publishing and negotiate all the publishing rights and stuff like that. That's sort of what my job is. I mean, that being said, I think it's helpful to like, if possible, I think it's helpful to like reach out to publishers and, you know, like major publishers and stuff like that. And maybe ask if they have a list of some easy, clear songs that you can create covers for, you know.
Yeah.
Things
Great
like
idea.
that. So that way it becomes more marketable, because then you can say like, okay, these covers, I already pre-cleared these with Cobalt or whatever, you know, and these are going to be really, really easy clears. You know, I represent the master, they represent the publishing, they already know that I'm creating this cover. It makes it a lot like, it makes the process a lot easier. It makes it a little bit more enticing to license it.
Mhm.
I think that also gives you an edge, because most people, most folks aren't doing that. They're like, they're not going and talking to BMG or talking to Warner Chappell and like, and creating, they're not helping the publisher inform which covers they're creating, you know what I mean? They're just creating covers. And it's like, a lot of people don't know whether or not the song that they're creating a cover for can clear. There's like a lot of songs that just won't get used ever for TV and film, because they don't want to, the artists don't want the songs, you know, created. So
Yeah.
it is, if it's possible to do some like, if it's possible to do some research and connect with a you know, a major publisher, or the people who, and just ask them and say, hey, give me a list of, you know, I want to create some covers, give me a list of what are the easiest clears if I create a cover, you know, and then maybe use that list to inform what covers you want to create. Could be a good strategy for licensing that people don't often think about.
Cool. Sam, come on in.
Hey, John and Caleb, thank you guys for doing this. And John, yeah, I just met you just briefly at Durango, and super appreciate you there as well.
Sure.
Hey, I got a question. I'm on a new kick right now, on down the rabbit hole of spatial audio. So trying to teach myself mixing in spatial audio and exporting for iTunes spatial audio. And just curious, is there any rumblings or anything you've heard of? I mean, just kind of the thought I'm thinking here is if music, especially Apple, pushes us in that direction, and it's going to be a thing like on iTunes to get playlisted on their curated playlist, you're going to need to be in spatial audio. I'm guessing their TV shows and movies will eventually go to that. And then it seems like people follow. Would there ever be a time where there'll be briefs, or we might even see briefs, would you think? Or does that seem like super far away?
Caleb, do you know anything about spatial audio?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
I don't know. Sorry, Sam, I know nothing about any of that stuff. So
like you're talking, like, why can't I think of the name of the actual, like it starts with a D, like where it's like the
Dolby,
full, like
Dolby
yeah.
Atmos. And so spatial
yeah.
audio, their new, you know how Apple is, they want to dominate something. That's their new name for it.
Okay,
I don't think there's a whole lot of like, I mean, there's not a lot of people talking about that right now. I think it's a very new thing. I think, you know, maybe in 20 years, like for sure. Maybe even less, maybe in 5, you know, we'll all be kind of thinking about that. But that's not really on anyone's radar right now. I don't think it's like a huge thing to think about, and I'm a little hesitant to think that that will be something that everyone needs to jump on super quickly, because there's so much music out there that's already like, it would all have to be completely like remastered. And then it's at this point to where it's like, okay, only the music from here forward that's thinking about spatial audio can be licensed. And in that way, if you could hop on that train, you might be one of the very few people that could get some specific briefs. But it also limits like a supervisor's like the entire catalog of music to just that. So
Yeah, I've never had, I mean, like we work in the trailer space, and I feel like if there was someone talking about spatial audio, it would be the trailer people. And none of the trailer houses that hire us have ever told us that we needed to ever have anything in Dolby Atmos or anything like that. I think maybe they have the ability to maybe mix it the way that it needs to be or something, and they're not concerned about how the music is going in or something. So, but again, I'm like literally the least technical person in the world. That's why Caleb handles all the disco stuff.
What about stems? Do you guys on that trailer kind of stuff, do you get asked for stems ever? Or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a bit actually. I think
Quite a
if
bit.
I was going to mention that earlier, I think it's in every artist's like best interest to have your like main track, your instrumental,
Mhm.
and all your stems kind of at hand.
You don't have to
it's just
send
gonna,
them. You don't have to
yeah.
send them initially, but just have them available. So
Have them available.
But
yeah,
even
because
if you kept them
yeah.
in like disco, I
Mhm.
think like having like as many versions as you can of your songs is always good. But yeah, you don't have to send those right away.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Sam.
Yeah.
I'll take Pierre and then maybe we wrap up after that. Pierre, oh, actually, oh, where did Pierre just go? If you could raise your hand again, I think I just lost you. Oh, there
There
we go.
he is.
Cool. Great. Thanks.
Hey, so once again, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, man. It's tough out here trying to network with people, and
Yeah.
no worries. Yeah. But so yeah, you answered my question, John, about submitting as released music to that's been distributed. So that's one of the things I'm interested in, because I also, as an artist, create my own music and for myself to release. And some of the stuff I'm like, wow, this would be great to submit for some type of sync licensing. So
yeah, you can, it doesn't matter if the music's already distributed. In fact, I don't personally think that it really affects anything unless it's like a big famous song, like a lot of people ask us, like, is it a deterrent? Like, do people want, well, do you all like want music supervisors want stuff that's like unreleased or whatever? And if you only have like a few thousand streams on your song or something like that, then it doesn't really matter if it's released already or if it's not. Obviously, if you represent the master and the publishing, you represent 100% of the track, then it makes it more appealing for a sync agency or a music supervisor to maybe want to use it. But like, even if you only represent the publishing or the master, like you can say that when you reach out and just mention like, hey, I only represent the master, but publishing, if you only represent one side, just make sure you say who represents the other. Like publishing is through BMG or something, or whatever, but yeah, it's but yeah, there's no deterrent. I think that like, honestly, like music discovery is a really big part of music supervision. And it's really a big part of kind of the entire ecosystem of music as it is right now in general. So I think releasing your music is important. So release your music. Just do it. Like release it all. Even if you're making production music tracks and they're trailer tracks, like release them. Put them out on the like send them out to the DSPs, like put them out on Spotify, even if it's just a trailer track, because people are gonna I can't tell you how many times, Caleb, would you say that 25% of the time an editor found some fucking trailer song, oh sorry, for the F word.
It's okay.
They found some like trailer song like on like Spotify because they're like just like
Yeah.
poking around on their own, and then they're like, hey,
Yeah.
can you track this down or find us something that's more, you know what I mean? And
Totally.
I'm like sitting there like, who are even are these? Who is this person who released this song? I don't even know where you guys found this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's important. I'm the same
Yeah.
way. Like I think the only way that, like, the only thing that should stop you from releasing it is if you're already a well like known artist, and like, you know, a lot of the songs that don't get released before the sync is from like a well-known artist, and it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, this movie is pulling all the Justin Bieber fans because Justin Bieber's new song is going to be in, you know, like this new trailer, and that's
they're cross-selling each
promotion.
other's audiences. So they're trying to
Yeah.
time the releases of the film with the release of the single, and like have it be part of a marketing push. But yeah, if you're not like a super famous artist, then I would just release your music and just get it out there. The algorithm for releases like rewards you for consistent output. So if you're putting out music a lot, the chances of it getting playlisted and the chances of it getting out there more are higher, of it just having more visibility, you know, on Spotify and playlisting and stuff like that, if you're consistently releasing music every 10 weeks or so. But not that you have to. Obviously, you know, it's up to whatever everyone's individual strategy is up to them. But I do know that consistently releasing music helps provide more visibility on what your projects are.
Okay, I
Right.
appreciate that. That's good to know, because that's been racking my brain. I'm like, do I put this over here, or how do I compartmentalize this stuff? So yeah, I appreciate that.
I would collect it all and send it to some of these sync agencies. Or if you're creating, I know that we connected yesterday at the PMA thing. If your goal is to create an agency of your own or something, then just start collecting all your music and, you know, self-represent it, or send it to some of those agencies that we mentioned in the chat, and I'm sure you'll find a home for it.
Okay,
Cool.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Pierre,
you.
for jumping
Wow.
on with that question. This has been great. So amazing, all this information for everybody. Thank you for being here again and doing this. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Caleb. So much fun to have you both on
Thank you
here.
for having us.
I'm just
thanks,
I'm gonna drop the link one more time in the chat for anyone who didn't see it above. So if you have a song you'd like to submit to us,
pick your best.
Yeah, best song. Definitely have the metadata and should be fully produced, so no demos. This will be like ready for supervisors to use if they want to. So
yeah, and also maybe make sure you put, if somebody in the metadata, what your agency, if it's already being represented, who the agency is.
Cool. And I'll follow up. I'll send you all emails letting you know when that's live. But I think you can also check out, I believe you're able to search our Pandion account on Disco, and should be able to find our library on there and see the playlist that we have.
That's a Caleb thing. We'll try to figure out how that works. We will. I think
we'll send you the link.
I'll send you the link for sure.
Don't send. John doesn't know how to work links. Just send me the link.
Okay. All right.
Just kidding.
All right, Caleb.
No, I know how to do it. But yeah, we're also going to be answering some questions for literally, Michael, how do I internet is like but we're also going to be answering the Ask Me Anything thing on the so I know there's a lot of unanswered questions in the chat that we didn't get to, but feel free to ask them on there and we'll answer them on there. So
yeah, and if any of you have questions about the disco stuff or anything, our playlist, just feel free to email us, or you can message us on social media, and we can help you out. So yeah, thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah, and check our website out. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up, including a fundraiser, Syncathon, for Pandion that's happening. I think if you just
the
look up,
10th.
yeah, Pandion Music Foundation, it'll be there, and I'll put our there we go. I put it in the chat, our website. So yeah, so thank you everyone. Blessings. Have a
Great.
beautiful day.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Jonathan, Caleb.
Bye,
Thanks
y'all.
so much. See ya.
Bye bye.